So, hello everyone. Today we are excited to have Baylin Herington of Immune on our YouTube channel. We're going to discuss how Baylin recommends FreeQMS to clients in need of a supplier management system. Welcome, Baylin. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not bad. Baylin, we're happy to have you on as part of our FreeQMS Experts video series. This is a series of short interviews where we ask some of our most seasoned users about their experience with the software.
Okay, sounds good. I'm ready.
All right, Baylin, before we get started, why don't you give us your full name, how long you've worked in the med device industry, and a little about what you do?
Yeah, okay. So my name is Baylin Herington. I have been working with environmentally regulated industries since my junior year of college at UCLA. The issues that impact this industry are really important to me, so I really just wanted to get a head start on things. Now I'm a few years out into the field. I'm actually working as a consultant with Immune, working in the realm of environmental health and safety.
Awesome. Baylin, you are the first environmental health and safety or EHS expert on the FreeQMS channel. Why don't you explain a little bit more about EHS for people who work in quality?
Yeah, sure. So environmental health and safety is all about implementing controls in the workplace, ones that make business sense, all while protecting employees in the environment. This is especially true with manufacturing companies. So, for example, just say there's an OSHA requirement that requires that employees change gloves when handling different types of chemicals for disposal. So what we want is for employees to wear gloves that not only protect themselves, but that will also protect against cross-contamination of chemicals that require different types of disposal. So let's just say there's a water-based chemical that can be thrown away through municipal disposal. We want to make sure that doesn't cross-contaminate with harsher chemicals.
Right. So, how does this relate to quality specifically?
Yeah, so EHS often falls under the quality department, sometimes under operations, but we do work very closely with quality and regulatory. EHS helps to bring companies into compliance with any regulations that concern the environment and employee concerns as well. This frequently means writing policies and procedures to make sure that that's happening. And it's also a huge factor in the change control process.
Interesting. So, how do you make the jump from QA to EHS?
Yeah, so in my case, I actually do both.
Okay.
And in some cases, we even combined the audits if a client has the need for it. So I'm currently certified for both ISO 13485 2016 and ISO 14001 2015 as a lead auditor. And both are standards for medical device manufacturing and environmental safety practices, respectively. So both systems require auditors, and some have similar requirements for supplier qualification and management.
So,
Any-
you mentioned supplier management under EHS. Is that what led you to FreeQMS?
Immune, the company I currently work for as a consultant, actually had an existing relationship with FreeQMS. So before joining Immune, I was unaware that there was actually an electronic system for supplier selection and management. And then while studying at UCLA, we were not made aware of any of the systems either.
Wow. So, is FreeQMS the first system you've
Yeah.
used?
Yeah, FreeQMS is the first system, but after several years of auditing now, I've encountered and worked with some major electronic management systems in the market.
What are some of the systems you've worked with?
So we audit companies of all sizes. Most audits are voluntary, so customers often pull up their electronic systems to find records. Immune also does quite a bit of work resolving audit nonconformances and installing compliance, which leads me to work with the systems at various companies. Other systems that come to my mind are Master Control and QCBD.
Right. What's your general impression of these systems compared to FreeQMS?
So I would say it's like comparing a department store to Amazon. It's fun to go to the store, but you're only there to buy one thing. Being a millennial and growing up with tech, I find myself really frustrated with the older systems because they're really slow and clunky.
Right.
So we really try and put everyone on FreeQMS because it's easy to use system where people can get in, search, and get what they need. A lot of the manual legwork of quality is automated through the pre-built activities.
Yeah. So would you just say that FreeQMS in general is just simpler than other systems?
I don't know if simple is the right word, because from what I've seen in both the disciplines that I've audited in, FreeQMS has a lot of functionality, and it's just organized better. A lot of the other systems just look gross. Excuse my language. People now are used to the iPhone and apps, modern stuff that doesn't look like a desktop program from the 90s. The simple interface and colors of FreeQMS are definitely a big step forward, I think.
Right. I've used QCBB a lot myself, and I mean, looking at that is like looking at just an ancient IBM computer. It's all
Yeah,
gray.
yeah,
But thanks
vintage.
for yeah, absolutely. Thanks for all the positive feedback. We actually document feedback during these web interviews as part of our post-market surveillance. The input from experienced users is pretty helpful. So, Baylin, what kind of day-to-day activities do you do in FreeQMS?
So most of my work is either auditing companies to EHS standards, such as 14001, or remediating nonconformances issues by other notified bodies or regulatory for 14001. I would say one of the biggest consistent issues that I see with EHS is supplier management. It's easy to write a procedure that says the company needs certain gloves, for example, like we talked about, but how do they purchase them? The common response I get from clients is, well, if we need surgical gloves, we just go to Amazon. Like, okay, but how are you controlling the supplier?
Right.
Do you have their quality system data on hand? Have you collected any info? Are you evaluating those suppliers in any way? These are the kind of things that lead people to getting shut down over EHS issues. My first mission with any client that has supplier control problems is to try and get them going on FreeQMS quickly, ASAP, right off the bat. I know it
Mhm.
works. I know it can be done, or I know it can be not done, but I know it can be used to evaluate suppliers for environmental controls and consumables.
What led you to seek out FreeQMS for these activities? How were you managing them before?
Like I said, I was introduced to FreeQMS through Immune, and there really is no going back, especially for people that largely need supplier management. They can get that completely for free. A lot of small companies are on extremely tight budgets and
Right.
are initially, very apprehensive about going electronic.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but in my opinion, free QMS completely jumps those barriers easily by, offering the free supplier module.
Uh, what are the principal advantages you see to managing these activities electronically? How is the system really helping these companies?
So I don't want to put anyone on blast, but a lot of companies have no supplier selection program, despite the number of regulations.
Hmm.
So automating supplier evaluation periods is a huge, huge help.
Right.
Yeah.
When FreeQMS was first designed, we spent a lot of time considering the common manufacturing ISO standards like ISO 9001, 13485, etc. Can
Mhm.
you talk a little bit about how it applies to other industries?
Yeah, definitely. So, even though my educational background falls in the spirit of environmental awareness, I initially actually started auditing medical device companies mainly to ISO 13485. I think most of these companies are aware that there are solutions out there to comply with expectations electronically.
Hmm.
Um, but on the other hand, there's almost like no education or awareness that people in the EHS field can use electronic systems. Um, I would say that a lot of the burden in EHS compliance falls on supplier management.
Yeah.
A customer that buys trash bags for a given chemical does not have to have in-house engineering to build a certain trash bag that is compliant. Companies are completely dependent upon suppliers. I'd say it gets even worse when dealing with suppliers of services. Um, for a company that outsources environmental monitoring, say of a clean room, how do they know that monitoring is completely certified? How do they know that any of the monitoring is being performed? It's great to outsource functions, but without management, you'll just get source failure.
Right. Do you see a lot of capacity for systems like FreeQMS to move outside of the quality space?
Well, Quality is quality, but people often confuse that with the discipline of quality assurance. To me, doing a quality job of overseeing suppliers is going to be important anytime regulations are involved. So yes, I think there's a ton of room for quality management systems to expand into other regulated areas.
When you take FreeQMS into these new industries where you say there's little awareness, how is uptake? Are people able to use the system?
Uh, the biggest barrier, really, in anything with consulting is convincing people that there is a better way to do something.
Right.
You know, I almost want to say that it doesn't matter what it is. There is such a personal element of telling people, hey, you can do this in a better way. There is just no getting over that they'll take it personally because on some level you're telling them, well, you're doing it wrong. The thing I like about FreeQMS is it kind of hands this, task off and just kind of sells itself. So if I can get just one supplier record in and show people like, hey, see, like you can do this electronically, or
Yeah.
you can sign electronically, or hey, you can store all the documents for the supplier here. Then it's usually that the system sells itself at that point.
Right. Have you found yourself directing people to our YouTube channel? There's lots of informative videos and tutorials there.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as we'd like to charge people for training on different computer system, the budget just isn't there. But with FreeQMS now, we can just send a link out now. I don't know if everyone watches it, but I hope they do.
Well, thanks, Baylin. We hope they do as well. Uh, we want to thank you for appearing on the channel today and introducing more people to the exciting world of EHS.
Of course.
We at FreeQMS appreciate you using the software and hope it continues to help you and your clients, of course. So,
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much. Anytime. It was great talking with you.
all right. Thank you and have a good day.
You too.